So we just talked about the Mehdi Hasan versus Matt Taibbi debate. It was about the Twitter files. It was about Elon Musk. And the crux of it was Mehdi Hasan was flummoxed by the fact that Matt Taibbi is doing this Twitter files reporting, but he's sort of not criticized Elon Musk for doing just as much censorship, if not more censorship, than the previous Twitter regime. So in the back and forth, it looks like Matt Taibbi is really bending over backwards to not criticize Elon Musk. Well, immediately in the wake of this, Elon Musk does not return the favor. In fact, it's quite the opposite. And here's what happened. This is in the Washington Post. Twitter targets its rival Substack, forcing well-known journalists to choose. Matt Taibbi, whom Elon Musk solicited to write the Twitter files, says he'll start using Substack's new Twitter clone. So Substack came out with this new feature called Substack Notes. And now, by the way, Crystal Kyle and Friends is done on Substack, just so everybody understands. So, perhaps you could say my discussion of this, even though I'm going to go through the facts of it, it's a little biased because I use Substack, but I also use Twitter, and I've loved Twitter for a very long time. I've used it less and less recently. But Substack is doing like their own version of Twitter, kind of. And Elon Musk views this as, an affront and unfair. And so Elon turned around and just totally dropped the hammer on Substack. So let me read you some of the information here because, again, this is classic Elon Musk, impulsive, went way too authoritarian. Matt Taibbi, who was chosen by Twitter owner Elon Musk to write segments of the controversial Twitter files, announced Friday that he's quitting the platform to protest new restrictions to links to Substack, a rival newsletter and social media platform where Taibbi is one of the most popular contributors. So they were so repressed that Substack would tweet something and nobody could see it. You couldn't retweet it. You couldn't quote tweet it. They banned posting links to Substack articles. He did the classic, same thing that happened back when the reporters were talking about the Elon Jet account. Elon just banned a dozen journalists who reported on it back then. This is a very similar thing. Anything involving Substack, they were like, yeah, I'm just going to ban it. It's wild. He also did this with Mastodon and other social media accounts. He repressed their accounts for a while. Repressed doesn't seem like the right word. Repressed, isn't that like the Freudian, shoving your sexual urges down to not acknowledge them? Anyway, the split comes just days after Substack announced that it was starting a new service, Substack Notes, that appears to be a Twitter-like platform. Quote, it turns out Twitter is upset about the new Substack Notes feature, which they see as a hostile rival. Taibbi wrote in a Substack post he titled The Craziest Friday Ever, adding, quote, I'm staying at Substack. You've all been great to me, as has the management of this company. Beginning early next week, I'll be using the new Substack Notes feature, to which you'll have access, instead of Twitter, a decision that apparently will come with a price as far as any future Twitter files reports are concerned. In a tweet, Taibbi also announced his planned departure from Twitter. Earlier, Big Tech Alert, an account that monitors Twitter activity between Silicon Valley and media leaders, announced that Musk's Twitter account had unfollowed Taibbi. Elon Musk is incredibly petty, incredibly impulsive. He burns bridges super fast. He takes any minor disagreement as a colossal slight. Here, Matt Taibbi just went to bat for Elon Musk in a debate with Mehdi Hasan, where he bent over backwards not to criticize him, and Elon Musk the very next day reacts by strictly limiting Matt Taibbi's account because Matt Taibbi uses Twitter to promote his Substack. But since now Substack has their own Twitter version, well, all bets are off in Elon Musk's mind. The split is an ironic development given Taibbi's role in the Twitter files, Musk's attempt to expose alleged collusion between previous Twitter management and the federal government to censor conservatives. Musk did not respond to a request for comment. Taibbi also did not respond to a request for comment. Disclosure, this reporter has a free Substack newsletter. Friday's events were the culmination of 2 days of turmoil between the two Silicon Valley platforms. On Wednesday, Substack announced it would be releasing Notes, which looks like Twitter and functions almost identically to it. The platform had been testing it for weeks, wooing high-profile figures away from Twitter. On Thursday, Substack writers discovered that they were no longer able to embed tweets in their Substack posts. Writers who tried were met with the message, Twitter has unexpectedly restricted access to embedding tweets in Substack posts. On Friday morning, Twitter began blocking users from retweeting, liking, or engaging with posts that contained links to Substack articles. Users also could not pin posts containing links to Substack to the top of their profiles. On Friday evening, Twitter began marking links to Substack as unsafe. Unsafe. Now, by the way, in the wake of all this happening, Elon Musk flat out lied about it. He was like, no, that's not happening. I don't know what you're talking about. It's not happening at all. It's not true. Everybody can see it. This guy is something, man. This guy really is something. He's very Trumpian in his loose relationship with the truth. Even Substack's corporate Twitter account was restricted, with users reporting that they were unable to retweet or quote tweet the handle's posts. Twitter had been a primary driver of traffic and growth for many large Substack writers, and many independent journalists were left reeling from the news Friday. Emily Atkin, who runs a Substack covering climate-related news called Heated and joined the platform in 2019, wrote a scathing post on Musk's decision, accusing him of censorship. Quote, hundreds of independent climate publications like Heated can no longer effectively share their work on Twitter because of Musk, who seemingly only did this out of retribution after Substack launched a Twitter-like feature of its own, she wrote. See, that's why Musk is one of the most annoying people on the planet. Like, he did this whole... When he bought Twitter, he was all about, me, bro. I'm a big free speech guy, bro. No big deal, bro. I love free speech, bro. And then, like, soon as he got the reins of power, boom, total reversal. He would do things that are censorious all the time while seemingly being totally unaware of it or knowing but not caring about the impact of what he's doing. There's another great example of it right here. So look, if you want to be this petty and vindictive, fine. But don't also cloak yourself in the virtue of free speech and free expression because you don't actually believe in it. You don't believe in it. In March, Substack announced that the platform had surpassed 35 million active newsletter subscriptions across the platform and that readers have paid writers more than $300 million through Substack. The top 10 writers on Substack make about $25 million annually. Jesus. Combined, the service has said, Substack takes a 10% cut of all subscription earnings from writers on the platform. Substack is part of a seismic shift in the media economy that gives more power to writers and creators. Substack co-founders Chris Best, Jiraj Sethi, and Hamish McKenzie wrote in an online statement about Twitter's new restrictions. Writers deserve the freedom to share links to Substack or anywhere else, the three co-founders said in a statement to the Washington Post. This abrupt change is a reminder of why writers deserve a model that puts them in charge, that rewards great work with money, and that protects the free press and free speech. Their livelihood should not be tied to platforms where they don't own their relationship with their audience and where the rules can change on a whim. So, look, Substack is one of those examples of a company that actually does try to abide by free speech. They really do. They have They have conservative writers on there. They have resistance liberal writers on there. There's lefties like me and Crystal. Again, we do Crystal Kyle and friends over there. And whereas Elon Musk is he's all talk. He doesn't actually believe in these things, and it's very clear. And then they go on to cite here exactly what we just talked about, where, remember, on that random day, he banned Instagram, Facebook, and Mastodon. And he threatened to suspend users who use the platform to promote their accounts on other networks. So he rolled back the policy after backlash, but this is stuff he does all the time, and this Substack thing was just as impulsive. Then he comes out and lies about it. So even Elon's top allies were out there like, dude, what are you doing? So look, I think we can put to rest, without a doubt, any sort of idea of, if somebody's a billionaire, bro, they're just like mega geniuses. They're just smarter than everybody, and they just like made it because it's a meritocracy, and the cream always rises to the top, bro, and you know what? They're the cream, bro. Put that idea to rest completely, because you could see how petty, vindictive, childish, and hypocritical this guy is. And look, I expect a reversal on this stuff relatively quickly because the backlash is immense, but don't let that take away from the fact he's done stuff like this a number of times. And as bad as the previous Twitter ownership was, I mean, these decisions are honestly way worse than what they did. They used that heavy hand of censorship too much, but Elon Musk uses it way more, it looks like to me, and in ways that you couldn't have even conceived of him doing it. But he's doing it. So anyway, there you go. Obviously, I'm Team Substack on this. I've used Twitter less and less, man. I really have. It's less and less fun. His changes have been terrible, even to the algorithm and whatnot. So, I mean, I guess I'm doing a soft pitch here for the Substack thing. I'm not using it, by the way. I think Crystal gave it a spin on the Crystal Kyle and Friends account. But, I mean, I guess go check out the new Substack version of Twitter, because it can't can't be worse than the hellscape that has now become Twitter. If you want to see me and Crystal Ball interview legends like Noam Chomsky, Cornel West, and more, subscribe to Crystal, Kyle, and Friends on Substack. $5 a month gets you the video version a day early. Remember, we take 0 ad dollars for this podcast. Or you can sign up on Substack for free and get the audio version a day later. Link in the video description box below.